Hey champions, it is, what day of the week is it? Wednesday? Wednesday, yeah. So last night we had Exploring the Library. Alex and I got to dig into some really cool topics. And I actually spent a little bit of time putting a thumbnail onto that video and putting on cards and all that kind of other YouTube stuff. And I ended up resharing that up onto the social media space. So go check out that video. It was a lot of fun, and we changed our format a little bit for Exploring the Libraries. Instead of the rigid, like, finding a topic, sticking to it, and trying to dig into it, we kept it a little bit more broader and just ask questions for one another. He has a list of questions he didn't even get asked last night, so we're going to make sure that we have a little bit more of a back and forth, and he can pitch some of his questions himself. So that's a new format we're exploring with Exploring the Library, so make sure you go check that out. But at the end of that video, we ended up talking about the championship. And as you can see, where is it? Over here on the side a little bit. The logo for the championship, November 20th in Toronto. That's all the details we have so far. Right now, what we're trying to do is make sure that there's enough interest, that enough people want to come out to this event and that everything looks good. So if you are interested in this event and you haven't let us know already, leave a comment below, message me, do whatever it takes to make sure that you are on that list of people who we will be inviting once tickets are ready for sale. So that's what's happening there. I don't have many more details. There's not more that I want to divulge yet until we actually make sure things are locked into place. So if you want to attend this event, it's going to be happening in Toronto. I know that we've talked to a few people already coming in from the States, and they had issues. It's so last minute that they couldn't even get their passports renewed, which is very unfortunate and kind of frustrating for me because I really wanted these people to attend the event. But c'est la vie. It's definitely our fault here. So next year we'll make sure there's enough events noticed. But this one's going to be a smaller, more intimate type of championship. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it and you come out for the event. All right. That's all I want to talk about for the championship. Today we'll jump into the spotlight of Chain Lightning. So I put up a list of things on the side here for us to talk about, to make sure I go over proper details of things that might interest you and that you'd want to know as we get into this. So let me just pull up everything I need. But again, I got a comment the other day which I really liked. They're saying how these vlogs are getting a little bit better, a little bit more formalized. I mean, I say that as I'm stumbling around trying to find information right now. But I do like that. I know that it's taken me a long time to get to this point, that the vlogs are providing value for players. So I want to continue that trend. If there's any suggestions you have for what I could be doing, I mean, the first one being I should be ready before the camera goes on to actually talk about what I want to talk about. Okay, let's talk about Chain Lightning. Let's go into the card details. So with the Forward Awareness 5 chi, this is a spell, electric, Axon only, action speed cast, 17 aura. You deal 3 damage to a target in Chain Lightning's awareness. You deal 2 electric damage to a target around the first target. And you deal 1 electric damage to a target around the second target. This card artwork here is done by Victoria. I created it. There's a lot of history to this card, but let's first talk about the artwork. So Victoria did this version of the artwork, and something I absolutely love about it is the fact that it's Kendra hitting Fong, hitting Nubia, hitting Chrono Walker. This is all canon. These are all characters within the game. You could have this exact moment happen if you're playing like a 3-player free-for-all or 2v2. This exact situation could occur, and that's really cool. The original artwork for beta, we just had this mage hitting 3 random characters. There wasn't and then you got that castle in the background. There isn't a lot about this that's canon, and that's why we don't have this artwork in any set moving forward from beta. Any artwork that's in beta but never got reprinted, you can assume is not canon. It's not part of the story in any way. So Chain Lightning, really cool. Or the original artwork concept was really cool. I did very much enjoy it, especially back in those days when we didn't have a good grasp on how champions were going to look like. I think the artwork for Chain Lightning, Tsunami, these are done prior to most of the characters being done. I don't even think Nubia's artwork was done at this time. So that's why you don't see those champions on these artworks. All right, so let's go back to Chain Lightning, talk about its value in meta. So Chain Lightning lost a lot of favor early on because it is competing directly with Tsunami when we're looking at beta. Tsunami is 18 aura, much larger awareness, hits everyone for 3. Chain Lightning had a very niche space. It was very hard to get yourself in that correct situation. And then even if you did, it was very easy for this card to fizzle. If you know the rules of how the stack works, to put an ability onto the stack, you have to pay the cost and declare all targets for that ability. So for Chain Lightning, you need to declare 3 targets. Those 3 targets have to follow a particular formality. The first one has to be within Chain Lightning's awareness. The second one has to be around the first one. And the third one has to be around the second one. The third and first target can be the exact same. That's not a stipulation here. But you just need to make sure that the first target is around the second one the third target is around the second target is around the first, and the first is within Chain Lightning's awareness. You have to declare all those targets when you pay the cost of Chain Lightning. Then when Chain Lightning goes to resolve, all those targets need to still adhere to all those rules. So if the third target somehow leaves is no longer around the second target, then this entire ability will fail. If the second target if anything were to disrupt that, so the second target is no longer around the first target, or the third target is no longer around the second, the first target is no longer within Chain Lightning's awareness, all the targets will get saved by from Chain Lightning's blast. And this became very problematic because a lot of people were running Mythical Protection in beta, and Mythical Protection says you can't be targeted by spells. So if someone plays Chain Lightning, in response you play Mythical Protection, you can't be targeted by spells. Chain Lightning goes to try to resolve and says, okay, this champion who's one of these 3 targets can't be targeted anymore, so this ability fails, and it does not harm anyone. So that's the reason this card fell out of play space in meta. Will it have a home in the future? Well, I'll let you know already that Phage is going to have a focus on electric damage. So with that in mind, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do additional damage. And if when Phage comes out with this electric pillar, Chain Lightning, each one of these damage sources are going to do an additional 1 damage. So that's going to be really great because you could then hit for 4, 3, and 2. That's going to be really interesting. That leads into the combos and strategies. I mean, right now there isn't a whole lot that you can play off of. Really cool things that I've seen. I mean, you can use this pseudo, kind of like Malik's heavy attack, where you can hit your opponent directly in front of you for 4 and hit yourself for 2. Not the most ideal play, but is an option. And then being able to hit for 4 with the 5Chi is valuable. There is space for that. But at the end of the day, I think the best play space for this card is within a limited format. If you're playing sealed or you're playing booster draft, this card does have some value there. It gives you a lot of control. A lot of smaller summons are played in those formats as well, so you're able to knock out several summons at once. This also plays really well with Raha's area damage, being able to do a lot of ping damage to a lot of different targets, and then being able to blast them all with Chain Lightning or whichever order you decide to do this in. So those are just some options with this. One of the things I love the most about this, and I guess it's one of the topics I'll add into this list of things to cover, is the history. Chain Lightning is one of the oldest spells made for Genesis. Not as old as something like Dedicated Studies, that's been in the game for a very long time, or Jillian Waters. Usually when I start designing a game, the first type of spell cards I make are some sort of burn card, so flame, and some sort of heal, which, you need your yin and yang. Or yin and yang, I don't remember, but you have flame and you have Jillian Waters, and those contradict each other, both costing 10 aura, so on and so forth. So after the first batch of spells were made, Chain Lightning came in a little bit later as a way to explore the tactical elements of the game. And it's one of those things that's really fun, especially, I would imagine, for new players, being able to see what does Genesis deliver that's different than any other game. Because a lot of games have a card called Chain Lightning, but it doesn't have the same feel that Genesis has, where in here you can control the charge, you can bounce it from one target to another to another. That's really cool. And I just I love it. I think it plays really in a really unique space, and that's part of the reason why I've always pushed to get it reprinted over Tsunami, because it just has a lot more. It explains why Genesis is unique a lot better than almost any other card in the game. So, let me know, what are your thoughts? Is this a card that you play with? What are your feelings around it? Do you play it in limited? Do you play it in constructed? Do you see a space for it in competitive? I don't see it having a home in competitive right now, but I can definitely see it in the future. I've seen a lot of sheer force that came out of this card in the Future League testing. So let me know your opinions in the comments below. Thank you everyone who leaves a comment, who watches these videos, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye. Hey, I just want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to all our Patreon supporters. You help us so much when it comes to doing these videos, keeping the lights on here at Haunted Castle Gaming, but also just in general, a reminder every single day that we are doing this project for you, the Patreon members, for the players, for the community, and it's just a regular reminder that there are people out there that support this game. So thank you so much for all your support. I really, really appreciate it. Bye.